Good evening, Livio, Regano with tonight's weather. The cool change that's been bringing welcome relief to southern and central Queensland is about to fuse with the unyielding heat of the tropics. So basically the whole state's going to get hot this weekend, culminating with thunderstorms late Sunday into Monday. The temp range in Townsville today was 25 to 32 degrees. That's not only above the November average, it's above the midsummer average at both ends. Charters Towers had a top today of 35. The satellite loop, as expected, is looking fairly quiet, but we can't shake off that middle cloud that seems to be blowing off the storms across central Australia. Every day it's been the same. They've been sort of making their way across and just stopping perfectly sunny days from being a little bit more cloudy. But in terms of rainfall, we've had virtually nothing in the last 24 hours, and the only thing we're going to get in the next day or so is just a couple of small inland storms. The more major storms will come probably later on Sunday. Let's have a look at today's chart. You can see that there's a deep low in the Tasman Sea. It's still directing that cooler southerly flow into Queensland with a high end behind it. Notice the isobars are further apart now though, so winds have dropped right off. On tomorrow's chart, as the high moves out to sea, we now get the north wind coming in behind it. Remember the anti-clockwise rule. The north wind is of course a lot warmer, especially inland, and then on the outlook chart the next trough and front system approaches. This will be the hottest day of all, and that front will kick off a storm in the afternoon. Latest now from the Weather Bureau. Boating forecast for Townsville waters, northeasterly winds reaching 20 knots in the afternoon, then turning north-northeasterly on Sunday, only 10 to 15 knots, and a straight northerly for Monday. First up in the morning we've got high tide, followed by a low tide around 6 hours later. The swing is starting to grow as we approach Thursday's new moon. Herbert and low Burdekin, just a 20% chance of a late shower or storm, which means basically dry. Townsville, a hot one, 25 to 33, Ayr 32, Ingham 34, Northern Goldfields and Upper Flinders, chance of a late storm and a high fire danger. 36 the top for Charters Towers and Georgetown 38. Looking ahead for Townsville, chance of an afternoon thunderstorm on Monday, followed by fine hot weather for the rest of next week. La Nina still pumping, but we seem to be in a temporary rainfall lull. Tonight's photo was brought to you by our very own Laurel Adams, taken last Saturday from Mooloolaba, a shining example of what meteorologists call virga, rain that evaporates before reaching the ground, leaving a trail of angel's hair. Thanks, Laurel, and thank you all. Have a splendid weekend, and now it's back to the team.
Yeah, good on you, Liv. Have a good weekend, mate, and you have a nice weekend. Don't forget McAfee Day tomorrow.
All right, and thanks very much for your company as well. Also, a reminder, if you missed anything, you can watch a replay of our news on the 7plus app or catch up on our page, 7news.com.au. From all of us, enjoy your weekend. Good night.
Good night.